Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're looking at some really intense source material detailing the ultimate surveillance state. We're diving deep into the story of Winston Smith, a mid-level party member in Oceania, and it gives us this incredibly stark ground-level view of what absolute totalitarian control actually feels like day to day.
Yeah, and what we really want to do for you today is get clear on the how. How does this ruling power, INGSOC, actually do it? We're going beyond just saying it's oppressive and looking at the specific tools, the actual mechanisms they use, because it's not just about controlling bodies, is it? It's about controlling thoughts, memory, your whole sense of what's real.
Absolutely. And the environment itself is weaponized right from the start. I mean, the first thing you get is the smell, boiled cabbage, old rag mats in the hallways. It just sets this oppressive physical scene. We meet Winston. He's 39, not in great shape, varicose ulcer, and he's climbing 7 flights of stairs because the elevator's out. Officially, it's an economy drive for hate week, but it's just another small way the system grinds you down.
And then you have the immediate symbols of control, that huge face of Big Brother everywhere. The man with the black mustache, maybe 45. The posters are designed so the eyes seem to follow you. And that caption, Big Brother is watching you. It's inescapable.
But the real kicker, I think, is the telescreen. This oblong metal plaque inside your own apartment looks kind of like a dull mirror. It's constantly broadcasting stuff, military music, maybe some figures about pig iron production, just noise. And you can dim it, but you can never switch it off entirely. That's explicit.
Right. It's the ultimate two-way street, isn't it? It pushes propaganda at you constantly, but it's also watching you. The sources mention police patrols literally snooping into people's windows. There's just no private space. None. Every flicker, every sigh potentially observed.
Okay, so that's the immediate present tense control. Let's unpack how they control the past. This brings us to the Ministry of Truth, where Winston works.
Right, the Ministry of Truth. I mean, the name itself is pure irony, isn't it? Because Winston's job is basically destroying and rewriting history all day, every day.
What's the core idea there? Why is controlling the past so vital?
It's all about infallibility. The party cannot be wrong, ever. So if reality contradicts something the party said or predicted, then reality, or rather the record of reality, has to be changed.
Yeah.
History becomes this palimpsest, as the source calls it, scraped clean and rewritten whenever needed. Whatever Big Brother says now is what was always true.
And the examples are so mundane sometimes, yet chilling. Like Winston correcting economic forecasts after the fact, making it look like the party predicted perfectly.
Exactly. Or the chocolate ration. This is a great one. Big Brother makes a categorical pledge, no reduction. But then, oops, the ration is reduced from 30 grams down to 20. So Winston has to go back, find the original pledge, and rewrite it. Turn it into just a warning that a reduction might happen. Poof. The original promise never existed.
Okay, but what about huge changes? Like if Oceania suddenly changes who it's at war with, that seems harder to hide.
Harder? Yes, but they do it. It requires this massive coordinated effort across the entire ministry. Say Oceania is at war with Eurasia, then suddenly, overnight, the enemy is Eastasia. Winston and everyone else have to instantly rewrite everything. Speeches, news articles, records. Big Brother's speech predicting an offensive in North Africa? Nope. He actually predicted the South India offensive that just happened. The old versions go down the memory hole, literally incinerated. Within, 24 hours, the new past is fact. The old past is less than forgotten. It's annihilated.
And it's not just facts and figures, it's people, too. The concept of the unperson.
Right. Someone falls out of favor, like this character Withers mentioned in the source. He becomes an unperson. All records of him are wiped. He refs unpersons, as the internal jargon goes. It's as if he never drew breath.
But they don't just erase, they create, too, right? This Comrade Ogilvy example is fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Pure fabrication. Winston literally invents Comrade Ogilvy. A heroic party member, died in battle, gave his life for Big Brother. An hour ago, Ogilvy didn't exist even in imagination. Now, because Winston wrote him into the records, into the rewritten past, Ogilvy is a fact. He has a history, memorials, citations. He's real because the party says he was. The past is clay in their hands.
Wow. Okay, so controlling the external record, controlling history, that's one massive pillar. But how do they get inside people's heads? Control the internal reality. This feels like where we get into newspeak.
Exactly. And newspeak is, well, it's incredibly ambitious and, frankly, terrifying. The goal isn't just censorship. It's to make dissent, thought crime, literally impossible. They think that by, say, 2050, there just won't be any words left to express rebellious or unorthodox ideas.
How does that work? Just cutting words out?
Yeah, essentially. The vocabulary gets smaller every single year. Superfluous words are destroyed. Ambiguities, shades of meaning, eliminated. Every concept that's deemed necessary gets just one single, rigidly defined word.
Like the example of the word free.
Perfect example. Free still exists in newspeak, but only in a very basic sense. Like, this dog is free from lice, or this field is free of weeds, meaning without. But the old meaning, political freedom, intellectual freedom, freedom of choice, that entire concept has been purged from the word. So the idea itself becomes almost unthinkable because there's no word for it.
So trying to say something like, all men are created equal.
In newspeak, that sentence wouldn't just be wrong, it would be like self-evident nonsense. The source compares it to saying, all men are red-haired. The very concept of political equality is nameless, unimaginable within the structure of the language itself. It's linguistic engineering on a mind-boggling scale.
Okay, so newspeak restricts the tools of thought, but then there's doublethink. This is maybe the trickiest one. The mental gymnastics required.
It is tricky. Doublethink is this cultivated mental discipline. You have to consciously hold two completely contradictory beliefs in your mind at the same time and accept both of them. It's knowing, for instance, that a piece of war news is a complete fabrication, but simultaneously believing with utter conviction that the war is real, Oceania is winning, and victory is assured.
And the key is forgetting you performed the mental trick.
That's the genius of it in a dark way. You consciously induce unconsciousness. You force yourself to forget that you just manipulated your own mind. You make the lie true for yourself, and then forget you ever knew it was a lie.
Which lets people genuinely believe the party slogans. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
Without that ability, the contradictions would tear your mind apart. Doublethink allows you to live in that state of perpetual cognitive dissonance.
But that must build up incredible internal pressure, right?
Absolutely. And that's where things like the 2 minutes hate come in. It's a release valve. This daily ritual where everyone gathers, watches footage of the enemy, usually Emmanuel Goldstein. And let's rip.
The sources call it a hideous ecstasy of fear and vindictiveness. Pure, raw emotion.
Yeah, and the key thing the source points out is that the hatred is abstract, undirected. It flows through the crowd like an electric current, but it can be switched. One moment it's Goldstein, the next it could be Eurasian soldiers. It shows the emotion isn't real, not in the organic sense. It's manufactured hysteria, a tool the party uses to channel all that pent-up frustration and anxiety towards approved targets.
Mind control via language, mental discipline, and orchestrated hate. Okay, let's shift focus a bit. How does the party control the social fabric? Family, relationships, sex.
Ah, yes. This is crucial for maintaining the hierarchy. They go right for the fundamentals. The sex instinct, for instance. The stated aim is clinical. Remove all pleasure from the sexual act.
Why? What's the threat from private pleasure or intimacy?
It's seen as a rival loyalty, isn't it? Eroticism, private bonds, love, these are enemies of the party because they create a world the party can't fully control.
Yeah.
Julia, Winston's lover, actually nails the rationale later on. She figures out that sexual deprivation induced hysteria, and that hysteria. It's desirable because the party can harvest it, transform it into war fever and leader worship.
So all the marching, the chanting, the flag waving.
She calls it simply sex gone sour. All that energy, that passion has to be redirected towards Big Brother and the state. Nothing left for personal connection.
And this completely warps the family. Children become instruments of the state.
Totally. They're deliberately turned into these ungovernable little savages, as the source puts it. They adore the party, not their parents. Organizations like the Spies train them from childhood.
Giving them toy weapons and even ear trumpets for listening through keyholes? Seriously.
Seriously. The result: parents are genuinely afraid of their own kids. The source says it was almost normal for people over 30 to feel that fear. Children are extensions of the thought police right inside the home. We hear about Parsons, this very orthodox party member, whose own 7-year-old daughter reports him for thought crime committed in his sleep.
Unbelievable. Okay, so the party members are under intense control. But what about the proles? The 85% of the population who aren't party members, they seem almost ignored.
Ignored is a good word. The party line is basically that they're granted intellectual liberty because they have no intellect. They're seen as subhuman, almost animals. Their lives are filled with hard labor, domestic chores, petty arguments, and distractions provided by the party. Cheap entertainment, films, football, beer, and especially gambling. The lottery is huge.
So they're controlled through neglect and bread and circuses, basically. Keep them busy with trivialities.
Pretty much. Keep their focus on basic survival, on squabbling over things like tin saucepans, as one example mentions. They're not considered a threat because they lack organized consciousness.
Yet Winston keeps pinning his hopes on them. If there is hope, it lies in the proles. He sees their raw numbers, their vitality.
He does. He believes that somehow their strength would change into consciousness, that they could rise up. He has this moment where he sees a robust prole woman hanging laundry and singing this spontaneous, vibrant sound that party members never make. It feels like real life.
But there's a twist there, too, isn't there, about the songs they sing?
Ah, yes. The final crushing detail. That very song the woman is singing, it wasn't written by a human. It was generated mechanically on a machine called a versificator, which churns out formulaic music and literature for the masses. So even that spark of perceived organic life, that spontaneous singing, it's just the output of another party control mechanism. Even their culture is manufactured.
That is just bleak. Which leads us inevitably to the Ministry of Love, the end point for thought criminals like Winston. Arrest always comes at night.
Always at night. And the destination is this windowless fortress, the Ministry of Love. And here, the gloves come off. The real philosophy of Ingsoc is laid bare. O'Brien, who becomes Winston's interrogator, makes it crystal clear. Torture isn't primarily about getting a confession that's just a step. The goal is conversion, breaking the individual completely.
And O'Brien explicitly states the party's motive, doesn't he?
He does. Power. Pure power. The party seeks power entirely for its own sake. We are not interested in the good of others. We are interested solely in power. No wealth, no luxury, no happiness, just power, absolute and eternal.
And they demonstrate this power by attacking reality itself, making Winston deny objective facts he knows are true.
Yes. First, his memory. O'Brien produces the photograph Winston remembers, the one proving 3 executed party members were innocent. He forces Winston to acknowledge it exists, then destroys it, and makes Winston doubt his own memory ever held it.
Then his senses, the scene with the fingers.
The climax of the interrogation, really. O'Brien holds up 4 fingers. He asks Winston how many he sees. Winston says 4. O'Brien inflicts agony until Winston, broken, sees 5 fingers. How many fingers, Winston? 5, 5, 5. If the party says 2 plus 2 get 5, then it is 5. Reality is whatever the party dictates. They control external reality, internal reality, even your sensory perception.
And if that wasn't enough, there's Room 101.
Room 101, the final stage. It's different for everyone. It contains the worst thing in the world, whatever that specific individual's deepest, most primal fear is. They're personal, unendurable.
For Winston, it's rats.
Yes. A cage designed to fit over his head, filled with large, starving rats, ready to gnaw his face off. That's his breaking point.
And faced with that ultimate horror, he does the one thing the party needs him to do.
He betrays Julia. The one person he loved, the one loyalty he held on to. He screams, "Do it to Julia, do it to Julia, not me, Julia." He puts her body, metaphorically, between himself and the rats. In that moment, his inner self is conquered. The party is won. Private loyalty is extinguished.
The aftermath is horrifying in its quietness. He's released.
Yeah. Released, physically broken, but also repaired, in their view. He's fatter, has a meaningless job. He sits in the Chestnut Tree Cafe, creates his 2 plus 2 will 5 in the dust on the table. He accepts everything.
The struggle is finished.
The final line says it all. He loved Big Brother. Conversion complete.
So we've traced this comprehensive system from the telescreens and the memory hole to newspeak, doublethink, the destruction of family, the control of the proles, and finally the absolute conversion in the Ministry of Love.
It's chilling because it's so total. They don't just suppress dissent. They aim to make it impossible. They don't just change the past. They make you forget the change ever happened. As the source says, the erasure was forgotten, the lie became truth.
It makes you think, if history is just a tool to make the party right now, then sanity itself boils down to holding on to the most basic truths, like Winston clinging to the idea that 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Exactly. That simple equation becomes this symbol of objective reality against the party's manufactured version.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. It really comes back to doublethink, doesn't it? That required ability to tamper with reality with your own memory and then forget you did it.
So here's the question to carry with you. If you lived in a world like Oceania, where the only truly reliable evidence of reality might be inside your own head, what's the one single non-negotiable truth? Maybe it is 2 plus 2 equals 4. Maybe it's a memory. Maybe it's a principle. What's the one thing you would refuse to let go of no matter what? What would you defend to the very end?